Don't ask why, but I watched the Angry Birds 2 movie the other day.
I am going right. Sorry.
I was bored. It was on TV. I watched Angry Birds 2 movie, and I will say, it wasn't actually that bad.
Oh, I didn't realise you were doing it.
Anyone could do it. Should we do it again?
Alright, here we go again. Come on.
Duh.
Go.
Wow. That is so.
That is
all right. Do you know?
I watched.
Do you know
last night I was working and I watched School of Rock again.
So you weren't working then? Is what?
Yeah, basically.
The sentence is: last night I was watching School of Rock.
I was on clock watching School of Rock.
Nice.
Bars. I also tried to watch My Hero Academia, Charlie. I was supposed to tell you earlier.
Oh yeah. You weren't a fan?
Wasn't
I don't know what
as
that is.
enthralled as I've been with other animes to begin with.
I did say it started slow.
Yeah.
That was the thing. You got to get through the shit first.
Yeah.
But if it's unbearable and you want to drop it. Just drop it.
What's it about?
For a couple episodes to see how I feel, but I literally put one episode on and then went, right, I want to watch School of Rock. So I went and watched School of Rock.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's about like superhero things, but it's quirks. You know, like the whole X-Men are mutants allowed in the world sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like way past beyond that. Everybody's got powers and things like that, and it's like
You're weird.
The problem I had, which I thought James would struggle with as well, is that it's set in a school, which is okay. It is what it is. You're focused on students, that's fine, whatever. But they keep throwing in stuff that just I don't care about. So it's like, oh, we got to fight the bad guys. Cool, fight the bad guys. Fight scenes are awesome. Villains are awesome. Everything about the fight scenes is great. And they're like, now we're going to go do a school fair. It's just like, why? I don't care.
It's not why we're watching it.
About the school fair at all. I don't give a shit.
And like in the first episode,
I've just watched some bloke like melt someone's face off. Why are we now selling cupcakes? What is going on? It's just like, it pisses me off so much.
in the first episode, there was like this villain on like a train line, and this new hero runs in and like kicks the villain off, and she can basically morph into whatever size she wants. And
I don't like that character.
The comment that she makes as she does it is, "Oh, like gigant ass," and it like zooms in on her ass, and immediately I was just like, "This isn't for me."
This is what I mean. It's because you have a bunch of characters, including that one who's called Mount Lady, and I fucking hate her. Because you've got so many characters like that who just bring the show like down, and you've got some who lift it up and you go, that was great, I need to watch the next episode. You're like, oh fuck, this cunt's in it again. You know, it's just like that's the bit I thought James would struggle with, because I struggled with that. And I'm like seasoned weeb watcher. So I'm just like, James is gonna have issues with this. My actual thought was that I'd need to watch it with you so we could take the piss out of it as it went through.
That probably would have been better actually to watch it.
I thought that's the only way to do it, because otherwise it's... I mean, I did drop it and pick it up a couple times. Where it's at now is worth it. Yeah. Like, it's definitely worth it. But the start was such a struggle. And there's so many people who say the show is garbage, and I'm like, I agree.
That's kind of basically...
I still watch it.
That's the kind of thing that, like, I call it the mum scenario. Like, because, you know, I was dropped and picked up a few times when I was a kid. So,
oh, no. Oh. Jeez. But, you know, because I'm not really the biggest fan of anime. Charlie has tried his best to try and to indoctrinate me a little bit. And I did give Attack on Titan a chance.
You did. As soon as you said no to Attack on Titan, I was like, give up. Because that's the one. Yeah. That's James got into that. Adam got into that. A bunch of other people got into it through that. If you're not liking that, you ain't liking anything.
And that was the gateway.
It was
for me. That was like my
it was gateway.
That was like my kettle.
Yeah,
like that was like what then led on to like
it's your kettle.
Yeah. Aside from actual kettle,
AT's a bit like ket.
Yeah,
really.
Is it?
Then like Vinland Saga's like cocaine. You got heroin. That's like Demon Slayer. That's the natural progression as well, by the way.
That's
cocaine, heroin.
Because I don't really watch anime, but one film I did watch yesterday, which I think you guys might like, was, have you seen Turning Red, the Pixar film?
Oh, I know about it. I haven't seen it.
The red panda.
I want to see
film.
It.
Yeah,
it's good. I would recommend it. It had very like touches of anime moments where like you ever watch a Pixar film and it feels like it's shot like a normal film, but everyone's animated.
Yeah.
This was a film where it was a Pixar film, but it was shot like kind of like an anime.
Ooh,
right.
So it was like
really pretty.
Normal for most of it, but then every now and then, like if there's a scene, like there's one bit where the main character got like really nervous and like it zoomed into her face, everything went dark and she was like really stressed, and then it zoomed out again and it was normal. Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed that, but I think it was one of those things. I don't know what it is, but I just can't.
I think there's quite a lot of work to be done in normalizing anime, I guess, because they do a lot of weird things which you sort of become immune to it the more you watch it, right? But if you watch it with someone else, you see it all again. You see it all again, like as if you're watching it again, and you notice things, right? So there was a show which I really didn't like that much. Everyone was like, it's great. I was watching, I'm like, there's a camera angle which has got like a woman's arse and then the two characters who are talking. This is not a weird, this is not a normal angle.
He's like, that shit should be default.
As far as I'm concerned, put it in everything. No, it's a weird angle, and if you're like someone who's never seen any of those shows, right? If you've seen shows like that, you barely notice it. You just blip past it. It goes over your head, right?
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen that, you look at that and go, "That's weird. I don't like that."
It is weird. It's a bit.
But the reason people like it is because
it's like a drawn arse.
Yeah.
Charlie's like, exactly. The best kind. None of that real shit.
2D over 3D any day.
Yeah.
But it's the sort of thing where the reason people like watching it is because it has some really good moments and some really good plot lines and stuff, but it will never become mainstream as long as they keep the weird shit in it, because it's weird. You don't like it. You look at it and it's just like, what is this?
As fantastical as possible as well, because of the art style. The art style can normalize things that, like things like Naruto, where they're just bouncing off shit and doing all this mad shit. It seems normal within the universe because of it's animated. Whereas if you're trying to do that live action, a lot of people will be drawn out of that because they're like, well, that's just fucking ridiculous.
There's not been a single live action anime that hasn't tanked. They've all been abysmal. There's been a lot of attempts and they've all been dog shit.
It
just doesn't work.
The last Airbender was great.
That adaptation was shocking.
I can't remember it. It was
we should, if we do the idea of doing like films and recording it, watching a film, recording it, and doing drinking games to it for a laugh, that's one of the ones we should watch.
Absolutely.
And we should just, every time we actively cringe, or one of us cringes or something like that, we've got a drink or something.
I love it.
Just do a movie night, have like the timestamp, have the timestamp in the corner, the movie night.
And then people can watch along, but we'll just be drinking.
So I'm having fun either way.
Pointing things out.
Well, one question I have, as someone who isn't a big anime, and as someone who's not a big anime fan, what is the difference between a cartoon and an anime?
There's no difference. That people like to nitpick and argue about it. Anime literally means like cartoon Japanese or something. That's literally what it means. Really. It's a cartoon. Right. I think the main part of it comes from the art style, because like manga and anime obviously have a very specific art style which is very different to the Western, and I think that's sort of where people place it, because the big one that sort of confused people was Avatar, because that's very, very Western. But it sort of has that similar art style. It's still different, but it's getting closer to it.
I would watch some of that, like when we were in like primary and secondary school, and I would have considered that a cartoon.
Yeah, shit's hot. That's a really good show as well. And then the sequel to that, Legend of Korra, that's even better. Like, that is a quality show. But
I do think it's
just the art style. Really, all it is.
It is that thing as well of just like people didn't find Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon that weird.
I watched Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. That was my only. Is that an anime?
That's an anime.
Yeah, but I always thought it was a cartoon. Even though I know it now,
but it is. It is. I mean, people will give you. Hey, there's a lot of gatekeeping in a community that's like got a very bad rep for being weird. It's really bizarre. They're like, you're not an anime fan if you haven't watched. If you haven't watched this, and this, you're not a true anime fan. It's like, I don't want to be. You guys are perverts. Like, I don't.
You're a weird.
Stop that with you.
But I find a lot of things. There's a lot of gatekeeping and really weird, not weird, but like really like odd, it's really specific things. It's like football Twitter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gatekeeping where it's like, if you think,
oh my god,
if your opinion is that Cresswell's a better defender than Luke Shaw, then you don't know football.
It's just like
what?
Doesn't
It's
matter.
called an opinion for a reason.
Yeah.
people get very oddly specific about it. Like I just remember people.
That's not my
I remember
opinion.
like hearing there was some. There's a couple of obviously I think Cross was shit. No, there's a couple of them. I do remember chatting to this girl about it. She said that there's a couple of blokes who would be like, you don't know anything about, like, can you name the whole England squad? It's like, no. And it's like, well, get out of the conversation then. It's like, that is such a weird thing to gatekeep. Like, because surely it's just whoever's interested in it should be allowed to talk about it. You don't need to know. Like, I've been sat in a pub when you get James and Dan, who play Football Manager with Man United and shit like that. They start going on about the academy team, and I just fuck off for a while.
Well, why would you know?
Just don't care. I'm just going to mentally piss off out this conversation. Just start thinking about other shit while they carry on with it.
Yeah, like, I used to remember, like, back in, I think, like, year 11 or 10, for some reason, I decided to make a career mode with Borussia Dortmund. So I had, like, a really in-depth knowledge of, like, 2014, 15 Borussia Dortmund. And at the time, I thought I was Billy Big Bollocks going, like, you know, I actually know all this specific detail about, you know, Nuri Sahin. Like, these players or Jakub Blazowski.
He's going to be the next Messi, don't you know?
Yeah, he wasn't. But he, like, you know, yeah, people do get in these weird... I think it's especially weird because football's kind of different because football is so big. It doesn't really need more people liking it. It's obviously nice if more people like it, but it doesn't really need it. Whereas something like...
I think it's good, though, because it means that, like, football I still think of as a family thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah,
if it's something you can sit down and everybody in the family can relate to it on some level, even if it's as basic as you need to kick ball in net, and someone goes, that was a good pass every now and then, fine. That's perfect. Yeah. That's literally all you need. It's the basic enjoyment of it. I think the people who get too involved in stats and things like that, you're just a fucking nerd at that point, let's be honest. Nerd's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean? You're too invested in it and you start...
I've got nothing wrong, because I do love some bullshit stats. But I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, you don't know how many chances De Bruyne made last season, therefore you don't deserve to be a football fan.
Expectancy of, you know, Moussa Dembele in the Barcelona team.
Yeah, like that's...
No, why would I?
And what I was going to say was, I think it's so... Obviously, anime is big. It's a huge thing. Just because I'm not a part of it, I appreciate I don't know how big anime is.
Yeah.
But it feels like one of those communities where you probably want more people being a part of it, don't you? You want more people to like anime.
Well, it's like anything that you enjoy. If you enjoy something, you want more people to enjoy it so you can talk about it.
Yeah.
I think as well, it's especially because some things, like some of these things have been running for years. Like Naruto ran for like 15 years. Yeah. Something like that. One Piece has been running since 1996 or something stupid like that, right? That's just the anime, not the manga, right? These are long series that people like to talk about because there's a lot to unpack with these things. So you want more people on board to talk about it.
Oh, 100%.
So why you'd gatekeep that, I don't understand it. It's like, do you remember everything about this show? It's like, no.
Why do you...
It's like 10 years of content.
As none of us are professional psychologists, what do you think the reason behind extreme gatekeeping of niche things is? Like, why do you think that's a thing that happens?
I think people quite like to enjoy... People love to be the best at things. I think that's quite a valid thing to say. If you're the best at something, that feels fucking good.
So you're like a bigger fan and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
so like people who are like, oh, you know, I don't know, just pluck a band out the air. You know, Catfish and the Bottlemen. People go, oh yeah, that album was really good. And if somebody then goes, oh yeah, but the one beforehand was actually better because of... It's like, you're just trying to prove that you're a bigger fan and better.
Yeah.
Than the other person, and you know more.
I think it's like arguing about like subjective stuff. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't really get it.
Like,
it's like arguing stuff which is purely opinionated. Like one of my favorite ones was there's like I listen to like a different podcast like one of them mentioned on Twitter that he thought a show was mid, right? Mid, like average. It was okay, this show. He got fucking loads of like people tweeting at him like, what are you talking about? You're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You're wrong. And it's just like, he just didn't like it as much as you did. Like, it doesn't matter.
Again, it's an opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just, I don't get it.
There's also like, I find it a lot with music, having you know, Charlie, you're the same, having like a heavier music taste, when you are around people, more people, because it's kind of like the generic pop, that is the most popular brand of music. That's what's in the charts. That's popular music. When you are talking about heavier music, so whether that's like rock, punk, metal, that kind of thing, people immediately just go to, oh, but it's shit. It's all just screamy, loud, angry, depressing shit. And it's like, yeah, but that's because you just don't like it.
Yeah,
like you're just calling it shit because you don't like it, and that's fine. That's your opinion. You think it's shit. Go on with your life. But actively saying no because it's bad music, and then looking at the statistics and going, oh well, all the biggest shows ever have all been metal shows. Like all the highest attendance at shows have all been either metal shows or rock shows.
Yeah.
You can't then sit there and go, it's a bad genre and it's not good music. Clearly it is.
There's certain things about music that I don't get. Like who goes to watch Adele in concert? By that I don't mean I don't mean her music is bad.
Oh no.
I like her music.
Yeah.
I genuinely really like it. But I don't want to go to like a concert to cry.
That's a good point. Like, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's a band that me and Freya both love. They're called Easy Life. Really good band. But it's very like chill, almost. I don't know,
Peter Capaldi.
Almost kind of like like lo-fi,
but
like spoken word, kind of rappy,
understated.
Like really cool music though. I have to say it's like very cool. But I would never go see them live because it would just be me stood there with a pint, like.
It would be the kind of, I obviously don't know this band you're talking about, but that I get what you mean, that type of music. It would feel like the type of music where you'd go there and no one would actually watch the singers. You would just kind of just talk to people.
Just listen.
And, yeah. And it's just in the background. Whereas like, I saw Post Malone and that was like whole...
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
It was just at Reading. It wasn't like we went specifically for him.
Andy's just dropping this. It was only at Reading. I just saw Post Malone.
That is literally genuinely we saw Tiger, and that was some depressing, humbling shit. So in my head, Tiger is like, or was at least like 6-7 years ago, the man. Like he had so many songs. He was on my fucking iPod, that shit. It was on my iPod, like not the shuffle, but it was the first one with the screen, the thick
classic.
I had him on my Walkman. Yeah, Walkman CD and the Walkman.
My sister shared the classic when it came out.
Yeah, I think it was on the classic, and he was on the smallest fucking stage in Reading. It was, and I was like, "Whoa, what? Man's fallen off," and it was and I was with my girlfriend, and I was really petitioning her. She's like, "There's this group I like." And I'm like, oh no, Tiger. You know Tiger? She's like, no, I don't know who that is. I'm like,
biggest artist in 2006.
I was like, yeah, he was 2009. He was the best, aside from Kanye and probably a lot of other people. But he was really good. And it was so.
Who was
so
the band that you didn't go see?
It was someone.
This is when
it was someone who was actually quite good.
Yeah.
It was
Foo Fighters or Biffy.
Arctic Monkeys.
No, it was I can't remember their name, but she showed me some music later on. I'm like, oh shit, that actually would have been quite good. I would have seen that. But no, I get what you mean. Like seeing like Post Malone, like it was an experience. Like I definitely gained something by going to that. But going to like more, going to, is it Lewis Capaldi, not Peter Capaldi?
Peter Capaldi's the actor.
The actor, he's the doctor.
Yeah.
Going to Lewis Capaldi. I'd love to see Peter Capaldi, but going to see Lewis Capaldi, it'd be kind of like I'm just going to be sad for 25 minutes.
Yeah, and just sing along. That's the other thing as well. It's like you can sing along.
Yeah,
you can sing along to your heart's content, but it's just that I think of that music as really good, like driving music. You can sing along.
Yeah,
you don't need to do much else, but it's really nice to just have in the background and sing along to. Wouldn't so much go to a gig because I think at a gig I want to move a bit and I want to dance or like mosh or something like that. You know?
Yeah. You want an experience?
I want to scratch some.
I don't do that. I don't do that because I discovered this. This is the duality of me and my brother, right? So we went to a Slipknot concert, right?
Great start to a story.
Now, I just wanted to watch Slipknot, right? So for my thing, I'm like, I'm going to go stand away from the mosh pit. I'm going to stand and I'm going to watch them play and listen to them play. And I just enjoyed that. And I know that's like, to a lot of people, they'd be like, what? Really? That's all you did? But for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted to watch the band. I wanted to watch everything they're doing, the pyrotechnics, the way they move around the stage and things like that. I wanted to listen to the live instruments, which are always way better than studio. That was how I wanted to experience it. My little brother went straight into the mosh and got his phone nicked, but he had a great time. He's just like,
dickhead.
They were just sprinting back and forth, slamming into all the mosh pits. That he was having a fucking great time. I've just explained that like a 40-year-old dad, by the way, what a mosh pit is. You know what a mosh pit is.
We all know what a mosh pit is.
He was doing that. He was having a fucking brilliant time.
Hey man, that's probably exactly what he wanted.
Nicked. But yeah, I've still got my phone, so who's the dickhead now? But no,
yeah, but he's got the story, Charles.
Yeah, you're also like, I've also got his phone. So.
Kept it for safekeeping. Knew he'd lose it. Silly sausage. No,
also ganked his shit.
But you know what I mean. It's like you enjoy things in different ways. That'd be such a weird thing to gatekeep. Because if we both started gatekeeping, I'd be like, "What are you doing at the concert? Sit down and enjoy it." And he'd be going, "What are you doing at Slipknot? Come and join in the mosh pit."
Get punched in the face 27 times.
People just enjoy things differently.
Do you know what would be fun to gatekeep? Something that like no one gatekeeps.
I was thinking about
Dyson Hoovers.
So the other day, I was editing the Surf's Up episode where we spoke about Surf's Up and stuff. I reckon we should keep that as the best documentary ever. And anyone that tries to talk about it, we're like, no.
We're just like, we're like, yeah, but have you seen Surf's Up too?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I haven't seen
the director's cut?
No. Have you seen the behind the scenes where they're like, yeah.
The Zack Snyder cut of Surf's Up. Have you seen that?
It's all in 4:3 and it's black and white.
Have you seen the origin story for Big Z?
Yeah. Oh, I'm vomited thinking of that. That is I think we need to get Zack Snyder cuts of kids films.
Winnie the Pooh.
Toy Story 2. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Oh. No,
I want Happy Feet, but directed by Tim Burton.
Oh, that genuinely would be quite good. Then again, I also think any fun film directed by Tim Burton would be good.
Well, he does make kids films, really, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he does, but it's a totally different vibe.
They're just a bit odd, aren't they?
Yeah.
Andy's there like, they give me the willies though.
They do.
Did he direct Coraline?
He did. Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that shit was weird.
That was freaky.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do like it. You gotta have some freaky directors.
Yeah.
Especially for kids films. Oh, this brings me on to something. So when I was watching, I forgot what it's called, Turning Red yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna pose a question here. When was the last time a live action decent kids film was released?
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids, yeah.
So what, 20 years ago?
Or Sky High.
Shark Boy and Lava Girls.
Full circle here, aren't we?
Oh wait, what do you mean when you say? For a second, I was thinking when you say kids film, do you mean kids film or just a film that's got kids in it?
I mean a film that's kind of aimed specifically for children.
So not like the Marvel films.
Like a You film.
Like
not like a Marvel because that's 12. You film.
Yeah, me specifically.
Oh, that's a really good question. Did you ever think of it?
No.
Or decent ones recently?
I don't think of any.
I thought of one, and that's the Paddington films.
Okay.
Good.
However, they...
Oh no, Sonic.
Is Sonic a You?
I think so.
Let me check.
Is it? Google that. Because that was actually good. I haven't seen the second one.
That is a good answer. But the point kind of still stands. The quantity of live action kids films compared to animated kids films is like it must be so heavily in animated's favor.
Oh yeah, it must
be. 100%.
Like why do you think that is? Do you think it's just easier to make a kids film with like bright colors and cool looking things?
It also means
it might have that, but it also might,
and it makes
it might be the acting as well. You don't want to trust child actors as well.
Yeah, very true. And if you've got sorry, I'm just looking this up. If you've got a fantastical kind of theme, so imagine trying to make Coco live action. Think of the like the CGI that you'd have to create and everything. That budget would be like and like a Marvel film, it'd be that kind of level.
Yeah, like,
And kids
I was
films
like
don't
in
really
Kanto.
have
I was
much
watching
money.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
exactly.
in Kanto, you
Encanto,
couldn't
I've seen
do that.
about that.
It was
You couldn't do
PG.
that live action.
Sonic.
But something like fair. But I mean something like are many kids films like that being made now? Because like Big Hero 6, I would say it's a kids film, but his brother straight
I
up
wouldn't even
dies
say
in
it's a
that
kids film.
because it's animation.
I
No
would say
one
it's a kids
cares.
film.
I would say
I'd
it's
say.
You wouldn't?
I mean, no, I would.
like a
12-year-olds
You
will be
wouldn't?
watching that. 12-year-olds will be watching that. But like, I don't think
That's
it's
a kids film.
I don't think it's a film when you take like a. No, I think you would. Yeah, Big Hero 6, you
Well,
would. Yeah.
Well, it's how young are you talking? Because if you're
I'm
talking
talking,
very
like,
young
8.
children, you're talking like Paw Patrol and
like Winnie
Yeah.
and shit.
Like genuine, like
what they called Octonauts and like
Children.
what's the other ones? The PJ Masks and stuff like that. Things like that. That's very young children.
yeah.
That's a difficult
That's
one
not.
because you have to gauge what age you're going for. Because I wouldn't classify Big Hero 6 as distinctly a kids' film, even though
Yeah.
it is.
But it's aimed
ranged
at younger audience.
Yeah.
I mean, like
It's got
like
very
you.
adult themes about it, but it's still
Yeah, but it's not
Like,
showing
what's
any
that film?
It's blatantly
like
for kids.
physical blood or anything like that. So
Yeah.
no, it's not that.
I mean, like I watched
That'd be
the.
brutal funny.
Don't ask why, but I watched the Angry Birds 2 movie the other day.
I am going
And-
to right. Sorry.
I was bored. It was on TV. I watched Angry Birds 2 movie, and I will say, it wasn't actually that bad. It's a pretty good film. Quite enjoyed it. A lot of big names in that. The cast list was mad for that.
They rate
Anyway,
some big voices, don't they nowadays?
Jason Sudeikis was the main guy. Had quite a few big. Now that I can't think of any, but that was like a kids film. Like it was you. Nothing even remotely like scary or even no implied scariness, or it was all you. Like it was very chilled. But like I just thought, I'm like, I don't think when we were kids, can you think of it? Spy Kids, probably.
Luckily, we had Disney
In terms
Channel
of like,
We did have Disney Channel
and we had
original movies.
Nickelodeon and stuff like that, which meant we got a lot of Anna Montana.
We've got sort of
films,
shit
Sweet
films.
Life, that kind of thing. Spy
Yeah.
Kids.
I think
So.
I don't know. I think animation's almost like a
Cheat code.
it's a cheat code. I would say it's like for children it's a much easier medium because you can do whatever you want with it, right? So you can make things which should be nasty and quite nasty in the concept when you think about it, but you can make it seem really nice and playful.
Alice in
because
Wonderland.
it's just an animation thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben 10 should be horrifying. You've got a fucking 10-year-old kid who's got an alien watch on his wrist fighting intergalactic beings. That's terrifying.
And also the transformations
But
each time.
it's
It's
a joke.
ripping his body apart and like transforming it. Yeah.
That shit's scary.
But like the way
fly.
the way they animate it,
Yeah.
it's very fun
Yeah.
oriented. You know, because you can do that. You put the pretty colors in, like you say, you put pretty colors in, you put the nice effects in, you do all this really happy stuff, and you go, look, he's ripping his body open, but it's all fun
And
and
then at the end,
rainbows,
he
you know.
says a catchphrase and stands there and he's like completely fine.
Yeah.
And that's over.
Yeah,
That's done.
That's harder to do. I think it's easier to. I don't know if it's like an imagination thing, maybe.
Probably.
I don't
Like,
know.
I hate to bring it back to Angry Birds 2, but during Angry Birds 2, there's a scene where the main bad guy fires the...
Gatekeep Angry Birds.
Yeah! I'll gatekeep Angry Birds 2. There's a scene when the main
played
bad
Angry-
guy, who's a pink
You
eagle...
can't enjoy it unless you played the mobile game back when it first came out.
Yeah, I actually played it in
If you haven't
2012.
completed the
When,
mobile game, you're not allowed.
it's like, I don't think you can complete
3-star
it. Shut
and
up, yes you
everything.
can. There's a scene when this meteorite thing, this boulder, crushes a bird. And obviously the bird, like, gets up and walks away at the end of it. But if it just cut there, like it's death. Obviously the kids watching it, like, but it would have only been funny. It was only funny because there was a little bit where it kind of stood up again. He was like, "Oh my god, I got a headache" or something. Whereas if it with animated stuff, it gives them license to be more crazy for stuff like that. Whereas you couldn't make that live. Like if someone gets punched in the face in a live action thing, it's difficult to make that look kid friendly, even if
I think
in something very kid friendly.
Like, with like what you're saying though, if like you had a live action version of that scene, right, and there's a fucking full on rock that just slams into a bird, and it's like looks as realistic as possible, regardless of if the bird stands up or not. That's a bit traumatic, isn't it?
It's scary.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a bit.
Just gets a
Yeah.
bit obliterated.
Yeah, great film though, and I will gatekeep it. To the
I'll
end.
join you. I'll watch it and we can gatekeep Angry Birds 2 together.
I haven't seen Angry Birds 1, so I'm already not good for the gatekeeping.
We need to make Twitter accounts that are like user 1656463 and just have one of the birds as the picture. Just like all the football Twitter that has like fucking Anger as their picture.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I find really weird? It's similar to the gatekeeping, but it's like a bit further down the line. It's more like the English teacher approach. Is people start over analyzing movies and stuff, and they look for shit, and they just go, look at this scene happened, and it's just like, I mean, you could look at it that way. Like there's one which sticks in my head because I was chatting to my brother about it, and it was like they were like, it was Rogue One. The ship gets away, and Vader's like cape is fluttering, and they were saying it's space, so it shouldn't be fluttering, which means Vader's doing this himself. He's making the cape flutter, and it's like, or no one cares.
Yeah,
like, have you considered that?
Most important part, no one cares.
Or he
also the cape flutters because it's more impressive.
Like
also, no, it would flutter. It would flutter because I know the scene you're talking about, and it's because there's a ship accelerating with engines away from him. Surely the force from the engine will.
But even then, that's overanalyzing it.
Yeah,
it's like it's a sci-fi movie with lightsabers and stuff. The cape's moving, so fucking what? It's just like, it doesn't. Yeah. It's irrelevant.
They get on their
the
moon
big
conspiracy theory.
People,
like the shit's moving when it shouldn't be.
I see people doing this mainly with Harry Potter, where they'll just throw in, and there's like, there's much more like headcanon lore than book lore at this point, I would say. Yeah. And it's just like, I just find it bizarre. Like, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it and stuff, but I'm just looking at it thinking just like, I don't think anyone, it's not that deep, bro. Like, you know, it's like, I don't think anyone cared that much about it, but I mean, if you want, sure.
I might be wrong about this, but I think there was a whole thing recently with, so like there was the whole Grindelwald thing and Dumbledore.
Oh yeah.
How they were like mates in school and they were blood brothers and all this stuff. Yeah. And like Dumbledore's like, I can't remember if it's like it's said that he's gay or it's just like a thing where he's like, just like everyone just assumes he's gay. But there's like a whole thing where it's like, oh, they were blood brothers and blah blah blah. And then one day I just saw somebody just went, oh no, they were actually like in love with each other and they were like not together, but they were like more than just friends. It's like, okay, that's cool if so, but why are you making it more than just blood brothers?
That one I didn't actually mind. That one I didn't mind too much because I know J.K. Rowling said a lot on Twitter, so it doesn't matter.
I thought you were going to say I know her,
but I know a great
she's a mate of mine.
She seems like such a twat.
I actually run her Twitter account.
But that one actually would make sense because it was two wizards who just didn't really want to fight each other, and it was this obvious friction and stuff, and you could see it in that way, and it would make sense. Yeah. Right? So that's I don't have a problem with that. I think that's all good.
It's the thing where I have a problem with it. It's just a sense of if it's not written down and it's not distinctly say, why are people saying it like fact?
If it's not written in the original books, it's just interpretation.
It's like the thing of where
you could just say it's a theory
where people say like, oh no, they were, and it's like, who says?
James is here like to Dumbledore. He's just like, why are you gay?
And he goes, actually, it was never written anywhere.
And I'm like, oh, 6 you not. And he's like,
I just
nice for you to interpret.
I think there was just a lot of headcanon with that stuff. And one of the big things I saw
was especially with Dumbledore.
One of the big things I saw complaint-wise with like the new films is they were like, I just kind of wanted to see Newt Scamander go and capture like beasts and shit. That was all I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And now we've got like this extra plot line for some reason. It's like, you could split that. If you made a Dumbledore versus Grindelwald movie series, people would watch it. If you made a Newt Scamander goes and finds Fantastic Beasts, people would watch it. If you smash them together, it doesn't really work. It doesn't fit.
Because it got advertised as this, like, as you say, like him going Newt, and it's all about Newt. And then you watch it, and it's like, oh, actually, it's kind of just.
It's not about Newt.
It's just Newt is a pod for us to just get into the story of what's going to happen next. A vehicle. There you go. It's a vehicle for just getting into the story and just having him there, really. But yeah, I agree.
He's a bit of a
sick TV series.
Yeah.
Like a TV
I
series
think
of
what it
Newt
should have
just
been.
going about, just living his life would have been dope.
But if you had something like like Marvel's making the TV series, which I've actually quite enjoyed all of them, which I was quite surprised. But if you said we're going to make a Dumbledore origin story series, people would watch that. They would watch that.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's
Star Wars is doing it fantastically.
destroy
Marvel's doing it.
numbers.
Lord of the Rings has got one coming out, which might be pretty good. I don't know, but I just think with stuff like the Harry Potter one, particularly, I think it's the same with Star Wars to an extent, where people just make shit up based off stuff.
The thing about the Star Wars stuff
that they've just seen
is like it's kind of difficult because with Star Wars, there was obviously the first original 3 films, and then I'm not sure if it was before the prequels, during, but definitely afterwards. There was like dozens of canonical books released. That's where it gets kind of like, at least for Star Wars. I don't know about Harry Potter. I don't know enough about it, but at least for Star Wars, like that kind of, there is this whole backstory to loads of shit. However, now with the Star Wars, Book of Boba Fett, the Kenobi series, it doesn't necessarily follow on from these books.
No.
So now Star Wars have kind of done this thing where, obviously they've capitalized on Star Wars by making loads of books that people bought. But now when they make the actual content, they realize, this might actually be better if we do this. And now this is why you sometimes get things of like, people posting on Facebook, well, this Obi-Wan Kenobi didn't actually meet Darth Maul this time. And it's like, well, but he did in the film. And it's like all... But at the end of the day...
the voice you're putting on for yourself there as well.
I'm a Star Wars fan. That's me as well. But it's this thing where people... Because some people have the truth, which is the canon, and some people have the truth, which is the films. And then some people has what you guys were talking about, which is the truth that they made up in their head because it seems like it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's even worse than Harry Potter because they've got like 3 different angles of attack. About
at the same time with Star Wars, there's the whole thing that you've got, as you say, you've got the 2 sides of the truth where it's like what was canon, what is now canon, and what people think should be canon. And then you've also got the 4th, which is what people think shouldn't be canon. So people just disregard the 3 films that have come out recently and just say, that's not canon. That just doesn't happen in like Star Wars universe. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but it did. Because we watched it.
You can't,
Are you just going to say that's in an alternate universe? Because then you have the theory of Star Wars has alternate universes.
Star Wars multiverse coming
in.
There's certain things which I wish weren't part of the canon. Like I wish Palpatine didn't come back. I thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
I wish that more lightsabers were like Kylo Ren's because having a hilt makes sense.
It's cool. Yeah.
I actually quite like that design.
Yeah.
There's a reason swords have hilts, and it makes sense for lightsabers to have hilts.
I also hate the fact
that
there was the whole, with the lightsabers, they were like, oh, it's a heavy burden. With a lightsaber, it drains your life force and kind of thing. And it's like, they're made of light, mate. Just swing it about like it's a light. Why in the films are they going, just go...
It's like swinging a torch.
Yeah, it's fucking light.
I guess on a real practical basis, it's because when they film it, they are using actual poles.
They are using actual swords.
Yeah,
they can't actually.
They managed to do it in Revenge of the Sith, didn't they? That final fight on Mustafar, it's quick, it's whippy.
Do you know
there's a lot of like the Force where they're thinking, okay, I don't need to look because I'm judging the Force. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. And sword fighting practices will go, well, that's bullshit because that's a bad technique. And it's like, mate, you don't have the Force.
And also, it's a film.
Yeah,
they're allowed to. It's
not crazy.
They're doing
Jedi who can
backflips.
jump like 7 stories high, doing backflips, using force against each other. It's not the same kind of fighting.
No,
yeah.
But I don't know. I think that in itself is quite an odd thing. I think that's probably the biggest thing that disappoints me about the most recent ones because the canon stuff, I just whatever swings and roundabouts. I'm not that fussed, but the fact that there hasn't been a better lightsaber fight since Revenge of the Sith, in my opinion. Like that, the Obi-Wan Kenobi vs Anakin is like the best, hands down, in my view. Some people may disagree,
and it's
but
the way that it
the fights in the 3 ones
is just
Yeah, that fight's sick as well. It's just,
I think,
the recent 3 didn't get close to it.
I think
and that was the bit that disappointed me, I think.
The thing that disappointed me is what's it called? The Phantom Menace. Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sick.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool fight.
That was the first film of the prequels. The first film of the sequels is fucking John Boyega's character, Finn, who doesn't have the Force, gets a lightsaber. He kind of does, but not in the way, he's not lifting buildings.
Yeah.
He's doesn't have the Force, and he's fighting Kylo Ren, who's supposed to be this crazy, badass, legit guy. And he, it does all right against him.
Yeah, and then
you wouldn't though, would you? You just
die to get defeated by another person who has no experience wielding a lightsaber. She's got experience wielding a staff. Yeah, no experience with a lightsaber, and they rely on the fact that they just go, "Oh, but she's really powerful in the Force." And it's like,
yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah.
So was Anakin. His mum still died.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he killed lots of younglings, so it kind of evened out. So
yeah. No, I think that is something which is a bit, I don't know, it just felt a bit off. Like if you gave oh my god, I've forgotten her bloody name.
Ray.
What's the main Ray? That's
Ray.
it.
That's how bad these are.
Ray
you forgot the main
Skywalker.
character of the entire fucking trilogy of movies.
If you gave her a lightsaber like Darth Maul's, that would be more understandable because she's used to using a staff.
Yeah,
a staff is different to a sword, so that would make sense. I mean, this is gatekeeping itself, but it doesn't really matter. I just
we're
think
doing the exact thing we talked about.
Good.
But I don't think it matters that much. Like, if people enjoyed the recent ones, I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I enjoyed them. I've said
There's
before on this
definitely-
podcast,
there's
I think they
something
were
in it.
good, but a few moments let it down horribly.
yeah, I think they were fun. They were fun, and that's really all you need from a movie.
I would
really.
always say that there's a difference between a good film and an entertaining film. The Star Wars,
Yeah.
the recent ones, were all very entertaining films.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't us. I wouldn't
is
say
where
this is us
the comments-
gatekeeping as such, right? But this is us nitpicking.
Yeah,
That's what this
yeah.
is.
Because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not,
I think that's
saying that
what it
nobody
is.
can have these opinions. And
Yeah.
nobody's allowed to talk about this. That's the difference between
No.
the gatekeeping side. If we were gatekeeping, we'd go, and also, we know more than you. And therefore, you're not allowed
Yeah,
to
exactly.
think this.
This is stuff we think would make it better. Some people might go, no, it wouldn't, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But one thing I did find quite entertaining is people talking about the comics, right? Now, I had a double take with the comics because I thought there's comics of Star Wars, and I went, oh, of course there's not comics of Star Wars. There has to be. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
And people were saying like all these amazing feats that like Vader has in it. Luke is like essentially a god in the comics, and they keep talking about these, and it's like, but I haven't seen any of this. Where is it? Like, there's this cool shit that you're talking about,
Yeah.
and you just don't.
I
see
suppose
it,
the truth
like,
is,
ever.
someone's canon and someone's understanding of a franchise is simply what they have consumed. So
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I've not read any of the books. I have seen some of the Clone Wars series, and I've seen all the
I need to
movies
watch that.
and all the Disney Plus shows. I've seen all those. So that is what I understand the universe to be. But yeah, if someone's, like same as probably with Marvel. If someone's read all the comics, they'll know shit that Iron Man did before he died, which is way cooler than the stuff he actually did.
You say that, I had to message James. I was like, this Doctor Strange trailer, the Multiverse of Madness. What the fuck?
What is this?
I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Can you tell me what's going on, please?
Yeah,
And
I don't know what's
shit.
And
happening.
that's
I'm very
like,
confused.
one of the
What the
one of
fuck?
the biggest gatekeeping things in like comics and stuff like that is Batman as a character.
Interesting. Why?
I've expressed
never
my
read about it.
opinions on Batman before.
Here we go.
The Batman annoys me in the sense that your superhero isn't cool if to beat anyone he needs to revise.
No, but
Like-
so I don't know if you've read the comics of Batman. I haven't. I've only seen the very popular films. That's it, and maybe a little bit of the animated series and the Lego Batman film. I saw that.
That's the important.
which was actually quite good.
Oh, brilliant.
As someone who's like a very basic fan of Batman, my appeal is that aside from the fact that he's a fucking billionaire, he is just a normal. That's why as a character.
He's
a normal
where
guy.
I then have the problem. People go, oh, but he's just a normal guy, and it's like, cool. Then give him the abilities and the stamina and the strength and the fighting ability and the reactions of a normal guy, and don't sit there and tell me that hand-on-hand combat he can sit there and fight a god. This is where I have the problems with that, because give him kryptonite and give him all these things that he's got afterwards, and he can go hand-to-hand with him. But I still think that if you put Batman in a suit with kryptonite and stuff, Superman as a man is still the same size as Batman. It's still going to be a decent fight. Yeah, Batman will probably kick his ass because he knows like kung fu and shit.
But also,
this is like...
Yeah.
Sorry, you go, Andy. You go.
Quickly, this Batman vs Superman thing, I actually really love that fight. Whilst I think it's dumb and Superman should obviously win instantly, the whole point is Superman doesn't smoke him instantly.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to kill Batman. Because he also knows that, overall Batman's probably a good guy as well.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to kill him.
Yeah.
But then he tests him more and more, and then he gets more pissed off, and then obviously Batman wins in the end of the movie.
And there's the whole... I think the funniest argument I ever had with somebody was we were talking about that fight scene, and he was saying like, oh yeah, but Batman's got all these deterrents. He's got like the... and then the sound thing, and he's got like the kryptonite gas and all this stuff. And he was like, right, Batman to shoot something at Superman or kryptonite has to go and shoot something. He's got to get it out. Superman can stand there with his hand at his side, click, and incinerate everything.
Yeah, but well, I mean, but I guess, you go, Charlie. I'm not let poor bastard.
No, it's all right. Sorry, you go. Like, I was just coughing. I wasn't like, give me attention. I was just coughing.
I guess
I was just dying. No worries.
I guess the truth
sorry,
is,
I'm talking.
It's like, obviously Superman is stronger than Batman. It would be a boring as shit film if they get to the fight and Batman blinks and like all of his armor's off and he's in a chair and he's tied up and he's already lost. Like that would be...
His legs don't work.
Batman blinks and all his armor's off and he's naked and he's just...
and he's on a beach with Roy Keane.
And he's loving it. He's like, wow, this is way better than fighting Batman. Fighting Superman.
This is something which I find very entertaining, is seeing people argue over power levels, right? Because you get this a lot with, like, going back to anime, that happens a hell of a lot, but it happens with a lot of movies and things like that as well, and particularly with Marvel films and things like that. Who would beat who? And I think the one that did the best example of power levels for me is Invincible.
Oh yeah,
because you've got Omni-Man, and he's this really powerful being, and you're like, how do we stop him? I don't think we can stop him. And it's like, you can't.
You just can't.
That's just it.
Yeah, you just have to accept that you're not going to be able to do it.
You can't beat him. There's no there's no superhero moment where his son, overcomes his father, and it's just this big moment at the end. There's none of that. He gets the shit kicked out of him because he should do.
Well, me and Andy actually, when Andy was up, we were having the discussion of, because I this is probably an unpopular opinion. I think Captain America is a fucking boring ass superhero. I think he's relatively, he's cool, he's fine, he's good because
he's the first Avenger, James.
Yeah, he's like the military man and he's the American dream and all that stuff. But he's just a bit.
He's John B. Default in the Avengers.
Yeah, and when people then turn around and say like, hand to hand, he goes even with Thor. It's like, you're so stupid.
This I feel...
One of them is genuinely, like, hand-to-hand the Hulk who can lift planets.
Yeah.
And it's like...
but not in the MCU.
No.
In the MCU.
No.
Still, in
Take
the
that
MCU,
out of it.
Even in the MCU, you're fine. Captain America's power level is... He is the strongest a human can be. He can jump the highest a human can jump. He can run as far. He can run a marathon as quickly as a human can run a marathon. That's the depiction of his power level. He's the greatest a human being can be.
He's stronger than that, wasn't he?
Still,
for me,
well, no, that's his depiction.
The point,
that's what
that's
Captain
his
America's
depiction
power level listed is like as a thing.
Right.
But in the movies, he's more than that. Like he is fast. He's faster than,
and that's fine.
and stronger.
But don't then try and compare him to somebody who is a god.
This is the whole thing about power levels. Like, the truth is, Scarlet Witch could have killed Thanos by herself.
Could have killed everyone.
You don't. Yes. She could have. So could Vision. Vision's got a laser. He doesn't need anyone. Like,
I hate how they wronged my boy Vision.
yeah. No way Vision's getting killed by Thanos in that scene. Impossible. I get, but no. So that's a whole debate about like power levels. Because as James mentioned, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, whenever that was, and obviously Captain America is not the strongest. He's not Thor. Yeah. He's not the Hulk. He's not even Black Panther. He's not those levels of powerful. But it's like, I don't know. I like Captain America because he's just like,
because you're American.
He is. Because I'm a patriot. No, because he's like, he's the example of someone who's kind of like Batman. It's just his guts that got him through it. Yes, it's for 12-year-olds, but that is the part
but
where it's
on
like,
that, on that level,
he's the leader.
I'd argue
maybe
that Hawkeye is a better example of that than Cap. Because Hawkeye goes
probably because he's actually a normal guy.
Yeah, and goes into the same situation as Cap. And Black Widow does exactly the same situational things as Cap. Has nothing. Is genuinely a normal bloke.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I kind of liked about the Hawkeye series. I only watched a few episodes, but he's got like hearing problems and stuff. Like he's like
that was such a good touch.
I love how they made that look so obvious as well. Because it was just like, you have hearing problems, and it flashes back to like 3 separate incidents, which would all have made him deaf. And it's just like, of course he does. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He's had explosions go off like a mile away that were like basically nuclear level. Yes, he's deaf.
Yeah, Captain America is not the strongest superhero, but I think, just as I don't have a reason. I just like him.
It's a human one.
Yeah.
He grounds it. Yeah. Because you can sort of relate to Thor, but not quite, because he's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Right. So Captain America is someone who's a bit stronger, but you can relate to him.
Yeah. The reason you can relate to Thor in that sense is because it's the whole unworthy thing. He's trying to be the best he can be. He's trying to be worthy of something that he's not. And I think a lot of people go through stuff like that. It's like, a lot of people might go through the thing of trying to, impress your parents or something like that. And that's the kind of relation between those two. And it's almost like Loki as well. So,
just remember, if you're ever feeling down, just remember you're probably in Thor 1 or 2 right now in your life. And you just got to wait until you hit Thor 3.
Once you hit the Ragnarok stage.
Then it's way better. But no, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head there. The reason Captain America as a character is appealing is because he was probably created as propaganda to be what every American should be. Like
he's the American dream, isn't he?
He's the American dream. He's the only character who isn't really flawed.
But it's great in that sense as well, because he's not quite the American dream, because he doesn't fully go with the Americans and everything. He disagrees with the Sokovia Accords.
No.
Like it.
No, he is living the American dream, because part of the thing of being the American dream is you are independent. You do what you want, and even going against the U.S. government in the film sometimes. It's him standing up for what he thinks is right. Yeah. Not what his government tell him to do. Yeah. Like he's that's why he's, I think, a compelling character. Yeah. But now that he's dead, or not dead but old, he's not going to be in it. There isn't really who's the James just celebrated for the purposes of the audio listeners. Who's gonna? There's no, because every character.
It's Falcon.
Oh, yeah, Falcon. He's Falcon he is the modern depiction of the American dream. The captain can be anyone of any race, and you can have the same.
And he's
dream
way cooler
because
he's got wings and shit.
Oh, way cooler. Yeah, like actually, like quite a cool dude, rather than just being some fucking dork.
And it was interesting because you had the Captain America who was aggressively like the American government sort of thing, the perfect soldier and things like that.
US
Falcon Falcon's less of a soldier and more of just a bloke, I think, which is why he sort of fits the same.
Yeah,
he fits that, like the whole left by Captain America, so that he's a bloke before he's a soldier. That's the point of it. He's a good
dude
guy
more than anything.
He's just a good dude.
Do you know what? Kind of separate but also connected. onto. I don't know how we do this. We always somehow go into Marvel, Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings. It's always
we're really
It's
good
been
at
like
always,
it.
gliding.
yeah,
through
yeah.
into it.
It's always one
We
of those.
just like it.
Every time they
To be fair,
mention
this one
Marvel,
sort of
take a
started
sip.
tailored to it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I realised. I
it's-
also
yeah.
just realised we're 55 minutes in, and we're probably like 10 minutes away from the end. No intro.
No,
Hi
we
guys,
did
this
one,
is
sorry.
the. Did we do one?
Nope.
I don't think we did
No.
one. We'll do it at the end.
We'll record a different one.
We're
But
at the end.
yeah.
We'll record it and we'll put it in at the start.
Yeah.
But really obviously.
Yeah.
What I was thinking, because so now Iron Man and Captain America are gone. Who is the main character for the Avengers?
Spider-Man and Falcon.
I think it's, but Spider-Man's not back in it yet, is he? Because they don't know about it.
He'll be in it.
He will be
Yeah,
eventually.
but he's not.
Captain
he's not
Marvel.
yet. So at the moment, I think it's Falcon and
Not
Bucky
Captain
at the
Marvel,
moment. I think.
James.
Well, I think
Grow up, James.
Captain Marvel.
They're not going to make
Doctor
Captain
Strange.
Marvel the main character.
They were
No.
not the main character, but like if you're looking
Because
for a leader,
Iron Man was the guy. Him and Captain America were the guy.
Yeah.
For the all the Avengers.
Well, I
until
mean,
Endgame.
if you're going off what we've got, so you've got a normal dude in a suit of armor who can make anything, is really intelligent, really smart. You've got Spider-Man, really smart, not a normal dude, got powers, but really smart in a suit of armor. Not an amazing tactician, but is really clever. Captain America, tactician, leader, military man. Captain Marvel, tactician, leader, military woman.
Yeah, but also the reason why what do I fucking know? I haven't read the comics, but the reason why I wouldn't put her as the the next leader is because even in fucking Infinity War,
She got like 2 minutes.
and she got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
She was like, you're not the only world to save, which is true, whatever. But it's very clear that like she's not all about it. At least from a casual fan's point of view.
That's why I think it'll be Falcon and Spider-Man.
I think it'll be Falcon and
Falcon
fucking Iron Arm guy.
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but Bucky's
I think it'll be
Bucky's
Falcon and
never
Winter
going to be.
Soldier
He's never
first.
going to be a main character. He's never going to be as big in the franchise as
It was in the
anyone
series.
is. Well, yeah, but he's in the series. It's his name. And like
But
he's
he got-
had,
yeah,
he's had
that's
a
the
bit
point,
of
Charlie,
introduction,
though.
but
He got a series.
Bucky will never be
Yeah.
as prominent in the Avengers as people like Spider-Man and Falcon and Doctor
We'll see
Strange.
if this
and
turns up
people
on
like
our
that.
/poorly aged things.
Like,
That's the
he
main
won't
thing.
be.
Probably.
Take a look at who was in the second Infinity War and stuff like that. So they said goodbye to, they said goodbye to Cap and Iron Man, and the two people when Iron Man died that were there and were the send off was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That was the person who was going, and the
Yeah.
person
He's
the
going
person
to
who was
be it,
there for Cap's send off was Falcon.
Yeah.
Bucky went, no, all you, mate.
Well, Spider-Man's gonna be in it, but just not yet.
I think an easy way, we don't have to do all this bullshit like what do we think's gonna happen interpreting. Take all of the TV shows out of it, because your average person who pays £10 to go see a Marvel movie because it happens to be on isn't watching the TV series. So you need to think who, based solely on the past films since Endgame, who is going to be the focal point based on those, because that is what they're going to have to, because they're going to have to tailor. Obviously, like Infinity War, it was the coming together of all of these different characters from different things that you had to watch all at the same time. Now that's kind of over. It's the new one. They can't rely on TV or I think they shouldn't rely on TV shows which only, let's be real, I love Marvel, but I still haven't fucking seen what was it? The Hawkeye. I've not seen most of that. I didn't finish Loki properly. Even really big fans. I watched WandaVision, that was good. But
Very good.
Even people who like me, I claim to like Marvel. I still haven't seen it all. So it's going to be whatever the normal, viewers, what they think they want the story, the person to be.
Yeah. And I think
So,
from that, like you're saying, from the two films that we've had come out recently, we've got Doctor Strange in both of them. So clearly he's going to be a massive part of this multiverse expansion and everything. And the other one is you've got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, he's and as much as he will be in it, he will be the Avengers. Like, they can't at this point have put him in the Avengers and then rip him out and go, Spider-Man's not in the Avengers anymore. Because
he used to fight against Venom and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like they'll all have their individual kind of bouts and things, but it depends what the next big bad is. If the next big bad is Kang from, you know, Loki and stuff, then
don't know who that is.
Kang the Conqueror, the guy at the end of Loki.
Did they call him Kang?
Well, no, they called him by his actual name, but his name is Kang. He essentially goes through time trying to protect and get his wife to be back to life, but by doing that, he just conquers loads of dimensional timelines.
Look at this fucking nerd.
You see, most people aren't that level. Most people are somewhere, you know, me and Charlie level. Like, kind of, we know a little bit, but not loads.
I was watching it, I'm like, there's this guy called like Wilson or something. It's not Wilson, but it's something basic like that. And James is like, yeah, he's Kang. I'm like, he's who?
What the fuck is that?
Did you send me a voice message and smack a spoon on a pot or something? Like, what
Chuck one downstairs.
What the fuck's that?
He's a big bad, and you know, again, he's the type of person that will just wipe out timelines for fun. Then you've got Galactus, if he's existing and eating planets. Then you've got a Fantastic Four, and they've got to come into it.
See, I think that's the bit where that's for me. That's like the Academy team chat, because I started reading some of the stuff on Facebook they got coming out because the MCU and things like that, all the different universes and stuff, and it was just like, even like Hawkeye. It was just like, oh, Kate Bishop took it up when Hawkeye died. I'm like, he died, and they're like, but he came back later. I'm like, how? Like, what? And it's like, but this was only in Earth this number, in Earth 616, something else. And I'm just like, right, I've fucked off mentally now. I don't care. I don't know what's going on anymore.
That's
Honestly,
why I think Marvel's playing with fire a little bit.
Yeah, I know so many of the storylines, but I could not tell you from what universe they're from.
They've got to make this simple.
So
it can be complicated to the extent that I
the
don't think it can be that complicated.
The films have got to be coherent within the same timeline. I think shows like What If and things can go off in different ways, but the film timeline has to remain stagnant.
One thing that I want to talk about, to stay on the Marvel, to finish off on this, is I think we've hit the hour mark, or maybe slightly over. Is I was thinking about this yesterday. I think Avengers: Infinity War is the best film of all time.
Ooh.
Debate. What do you think? Yeah.
That's bold statement.
It's the best film of all time. Do you know what?
Hit me.
Several things going for it. First of all, the good guys don't win. That is
fair.
That is
Completely
something where
agree. I love it. Yeah.
Automatically, for me, that is something. It's got so much impact that, you know, I left Avengers: Infinity War feeling a type of way. I felt like, oh God, like they lost, and then you're thinking about
acted up.
No, not in that sense, but like
went home and had a wank straight away.
I thought about it.
We all did wrong.
Spider-Man, they killed Spider-Man. I can't be like.
That was actually heartbreaking. In fairness, that was heartbreaking.
Mr. Stark. That shit was sad. Like,
that was really sad.
All of your favorite characters are either they either died or are like broken people afterwards. Like, it's like Thor, as we see in Endgame. Like, he's just him. Hulk isn't even there because it's so bad in the next film. Like, it's such an impactful thing. It's got all of these people that have built up from like a dozen or so films, maybe, like, I don't know how many films was before Infinity War. 20 films, maybe more. 20 films, countless TV shows, which like animated stuff you could watch, but, you know, loads of films. All of this build up, it had stakes. You really thought, you know, it was going great for everyone. There's so much stuff that, like, makes sense throughout the entire timeline of things. I don't know. I just think it was. I can't think of a film that was better than that. That left an impression on me that was better than that.
There was one thing about Infinity War which someone pointed out, which I thought, oh yeah, but it's just like, like when they had the fight against, the fight against the dude who was the wizard and the big fella with like the axe.
Yeah, they're
sort of
like
thing.
side bitches people.
Yeah.
James, I'm not a comic reader.
No, it's
the
just
big
the
fella.
wizard. No, that was the one that got me.
To be fair, he said that, and I
He is-
instantly knew who he was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, no, completely.
You knew who
yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I don't care.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't. Okay, he's
Dead now.
his side character too, who dies. So fuck him.
Yeah.
When they had that fight, Doctor Strange, Eeyore.
Eeyore, yeah.
It's fucking Eeyore the donkey, all right?
It's really fast though.
Strange does this thing where he cuts off like the big dude's arm, and someone was like, "Why didn't he do that to Thanos?" And I'm like, I mean, true.
That is a very good point.
Bit fucking boring.
Yeah.
Bit shit though, isn't it?
Exactly
It's a bit
why
boring,
they
isn't
had
it?
to kill Vision.
If he just
Because,
does it.
Like, did you watch What If?
Yeah. It's...
No, I actually got really bored. I watched the first one. I thought I'm not watching this anymore.
Well,
It's
there's
boring as fuck.
towards the end, it's it's not a spoiler to things because it's all in different universes.
Yeah.
It's basically like a depiction of what Vision would have been if he was made fully by Ultron, and he's got all the Infinity Stones, basically, and he's tracking them down. And Thanos walks through a portal, and he sees that Thanos has got the gauntlet on, and Vision just cuts him in half
Yeah.
with the Mind
I've
Stone.
seen that clip,
Yeah,
actually.
he just cuts them
Yeah,
in
I've seen
half
that
and just
clip.
goes sick, and just takes them, and completely reasonable to why that could happen. So
Yeah.
it's
But
Yeah, but like stuff like that, it's not really a story though, is it?
exactly, yeah.
It's just like Infinity War, build up, Thanos steps to the portal, Strange cuts off his arm,
Yeah.
and it's like game over. It's like, well,
I guess
easy.
Yeah,
the
or someone
thing that
distracts him
I
before
yeah.
actually just cuts his head off.
I
There's a bit like
the thing that I saw, which kind of like
Ooh.
debunked the whole, you can't just cut his hand off, because I think that's what a lot of people thought in the movie. Like, we've seen him do it. Obviously, he can do it. Is it something along the lines of like he has the reality stone, so like you can't portal near him? But then he still did when they were in
Of
Titan.
course you can.
The only thing I could say, which is like the head canon excuse out of it, is Doctor Strange did that thing where he looked forward into the future, and if in the futures he did that, they lost. That's the
Oh, there
only
you
thing
go.
I can think of. Which
Yeah,
is how
you
it
don't
works.
need
So
an
it has-
excuse
it has
because you
to
can just
play
say
out.
that.
It has to play
You
out.
can just
as
say that.
it's supposed to play out, kind of thing.
because then it's like, oh, well, that's can't have happened. It's like, well, how do you know? They cut it off. That doesn't
Yeah.
really mean much. What if in every time he cuts off the hand, he's able to grab it and reset it and beat them?
He beat the
Like,
shit
you don't
out
know
of
that.
Thor and Loki and Hulk with what was it at that point? The Power Stone?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah, like just the Power Stone. He didn't even use it to beat up Hulk. Like, you think that he couldn't take some fucking wizard and a specky little kid?
Yeah,
You know? Like,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's
I think
everything.
I-
but yeah,
I definitely do get what you're saying with it being
I think it's
one
the
of
best. I think it's the best.
You
movie
said the
of all
best.
Time.
I think
Definitely
it's,
that
it's
I've
definitely
seen.
up there.
I put
There's
it.
probably
I
films
wouldn't
I've-
distinctly say it's the best.
I would.
But-
I was comparing it to films like that I would have previously thought were the best films, like Shawshank or something.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. Speed Racer. What was
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah, the Speed Racer.
just Speed Racer.
John Carter.
Oh.
What's the other film you've watched? Oh, the Bean movie.
Mr. Bean Abroad. You know,
Yeah. What a film.
that's actually quite good.
That scene where he's on the bike. Na 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 na.
No,
and he overtakes all the
that-
cyclists.
that film, because have you seen it, Charlie?
Yeah.
You seen Mr. Bean's
There's
holiday?
I
there's a
know which one you
scene.
mean.
There's a scene where they're like shooting some sort of World War II movie,
It's a yogurt
and
advert.
it was one of those, I was watching it and I was with like a bunch of people at uni, and I was just laughing at the fact that they were shooting a World War II yogurt advert, because that's just ridiculous in and of itself.
It's like they smash through
great
the wall
film.
and she turns up on a bike and has like the yogurt. Just
Yeah, I take it back. Mr. Bean's
Lovely.
Holiday is the best movie of all time.
that's another one we should gatekeep.
yeah, that and that Surf's
Surf's
Up
Up.
and Angry Bird 2
Yeah, those are our gatekeeping films. Anybody who claims to know anything about them can fuck off.
doesn't. Yeah, great films.
And on that, it seems like a perfect place to leave it for the day.
Oh,
God, we really geeked out this episode.
we
didn't
really
we did.
Yeah, we might just title this one just, Geeks. No.
Anime.
Today we talked about how bad gatekeeping is, and then gatekeep for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Gatekeeping and hypocrisy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one. Yeah. Well,
I think that's the key to gatekeeping, isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? We had a great time doing it. Thank you very much, boys, for your evening, for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Hope you enjoyed.
Let us know what your favourite out of the B movie. What were the other ones? Angry Bird 2, Mr. Bean's Holiday, and
Surf's Up.
Surf's Up. Yeah.
Surf's Up.
And let us
And
know
we'll tell you why
it's
you're
Surf's
wrong.
Up.
I'll tell you what, yeah, we all say different ones.
Yeah.
We'll tell you why it's Angry Birds 2.
Brilliant.
But no, thank you for
All right,
listening.
well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Check us out on
Au revoir.
Spotify if you haven't already. Everything's
Make sure to rate us 5 stars. None of this 4-star shit.
there.
5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, anyway, right.
We're just not 4.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye now.